gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for being here with us live on Mind Your Biz on our morning show. I see Automatic Beats saying, woo, woo, LFG. Sorry, I almost said it out loud. Paul D says, ETHW LOL. Is it officially a meme coin yet? Well, we'll see. That and more will be answered on today's live stream. Also, featuring Mrs. Mind Your Biz, helping us go through today's news topics. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, do you want to say hello?
Hey, hey.
All right, guys. You asked for Mrs. Mind Your Biz to assist with the news, and I think you're going to get your wish. Kevin Hawthorne is saying good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Kevin, thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning. Always great to have the full community out. Thanks so much for being a beacon of hope for the Lakeland, Florida community. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. Really, I am a huge fan. Like you could say I'm probably your number one fan outside of the Lakeland area. So appreciate you being here with us live. Do hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. My analytics show me that the Mind Your Biz community is, well, it needs to grow based on people who are watching the media versus those who are subscribed. So thank you so much for hitting those buttons. Every click counts, but Mind Your Biz community, your clicks, as you know, they always count for just a little bit more. And it looks like we are live. Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. My name is Seth, and you are watching the only crypto news show in the entire universe. Pretty much nothing else exists. So thanks for being here, joining me for the end of the universe as we know it. We will gaze upon the heat death of the universe right here from our cozy little recording and broadcast studio from the basement of a van down by the river. Mrs. Mind Your Biz,
hey.
Welcome to the channel.
Hi.
Mrs. Mind Your Biz has asked to be an audio participant only, and here's the thing, guys. Mrs. Mind Your Biz she's a very precious person to me, and I see how y'all, well, not you, not the Mind Your Biz community, but how people treat women on the internet. I cannot allow that. So appreciate you being part of the audio portion of the stream today, Mrs. Mind Your Biz. We're going to talk about clean proof of work. Talk about various wallets such as Robinhood. We're going to talk about Japanese legislation, which I know most people would think, what does that have to do with anything that's happening in crypto in the United States? Well, it's normally more closely aligned than you think. We're also going to be talking about MEV on IBC. And if you don't know what those acronyms mean, we're going to go over that in detail. But spoiler alert, it means that some of the things that made Ethereum highly manipulated are moving into the Cosmos ecosystem. So hold on to your butts, as Samuel L. Jackson once famously said. We've got proof of live stream comments. The Deadwood saying, good morning, folks. Time for the first 40 of the day. Stay strong. Stay motivated. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Appreciate that. And what the Deadwood is referring to is not the first 40 ounce of the day. Because let's be real, if you even have one in a given day, you might have a problem. If you're trying to like shotgun a 40 ounce. I think what he's referring to is push-ups. That's right. 40 push-ups, first one of the day, and the Deadwood, as I understand it, is doing 5 sets of 40 throughout the day. That is absolutely inspirational. Keep up the good work, and he's right. He's right. Time for the first 40. If you haven't already gotten into it, do something to move. Do something to make yourself feel alive. You do have the technology. The power is in your hands. Mr. Mind Your Biz, should we talk about some news?
Sure.
All right, great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Fear and Greed Index, current score of 21. And Mrs. Mind Your Biz, what do you see on that chart? How does that look to you?
Oh, I see lines. They're squiggly.
I know, squiggly lines, right? What do we make of this? That it's crabbing sideways, right? It's kind of popping up and down from the sort of relative fear side of the chart, but pretty much people are remaining fearful. CPI hasn't changed all that much. We're not really seeing a whole lot of difference in the cost of consumer goods. We're not really seeing a whole lot of difference in the current inflation rates. Jerome Powell was talking about quantitative tightening, and I think it's too little too late, but I don't know. I think that people are feeling fearful, in my opinion, because of mostly kind of the price of things. Like, the price of things is really scary. I mean, we've talked about that on more than one occasion.
Yep.
Yeah, pricing is not what people are expecting, and it is scaring a lot of people away from markets. And I think that's going to continue to have an effect on crypto markets. But let's jump into crypto bubbles. A lot of green bubbles, yeah?
Wow.
This is a 1 week chart, though, on crypto bubbles. We're seeing the performance and the bubble content, both the bubble size and bubble content, performance of the 1 week chart, just so that you're aware of how we use this tool. If you haven't already used crypto bubbles for yourself, it isn't a site where you just jump in and you manage to see, okay, well, things are a certain way. Like that means that the market is a certain way. No, it's like many other tools. It does have some built-in indicators that even though the representation is bubbles, it can still tell you a lot of market data instead of looking like a line chart or looking like your traditional candlestick chart that you would see on, say, TradingView or something else. Plus, it shows you all of these ticker symbols simultaneously. But the way you use it is click on where it says, right there, the representation of week, or there. I suppose you can do two different representations of it. But drop down the toolbar there. Tell it the time frame that you want. We're going to stick with the 1 week. We can look at the 1 day, right? And that kind of gives us a different story. Everything has kind of got a general lift over the 1 day chart. But I like sticking with the 1 week. It gives us much better data. On this channel and in this home, we are not high frequency traders. We are investors, right? Like that's something that makes sense to us. It's not, I don't care to live and die by a 5-minute chart on a candlestick chart over on TradingView. It's just too stressful. It's not something that I can maintain or manage. So looking at averages, looking at 1 week makes a lot more sense. Looking at a 1 day makes a lot more sense. So yeah, 1 week here makes more sense to me. Market cap, I think, in the current context is kind of meaningless. We want to see just how it's doing. We might want to take a look at 24-hour volume, but even that is gonna, right? It's gonna skew towards the coins that are actually traded and the tokens that are actually traded. USDT absolutely shreds everything, and you guys have heard me say this on the channel before, right? Tether is the stablecoin that's actually used. USDC is the stablecoin that people hold on to as though it's some kind of a savings. Mm-hmm. I think that's a mistake, but USDT or Tether is the stablecoin that's actually used, and then BUSD, Binance's their stablecoin is the stablecoin that is kind of somewhere in between, right? It's got that institutional sort of halo effect of being produced and being backed by the Binance group. It isn't Tether, right? Some people are like, okay, well, as long as it's not Tether, then I feel safer. Okay, so it's not Tether, but then it also isn't quite as restrictive as USDC. Now, with Binance saying they're going to automatically convert all of your USDC when you onboard it into the Binance ecosystem, right, onto their exchange, they'll automatically convert your USDC into BUSD. So that's going to, over time, that's going to vastly increase the amount of volume going into that stablecoin. We have been talking about stablecoins a lot on Mind Your Biz lately, Mrs. Mind Your Biz. I know you only tune into some of the shows, not every single episode, and it's okay because sometimes it's too much. But something to be aware of with these stablecoins is that some of them are going to get people wrecked. And we saw this with UST, and we also saw this. People don't like to hear this. Hashtag unpopular opinion. We saw it with USDC as well. When the Tornado Cash contracts were shut down, you remember how that was a big part of the news cycle? Mm-hmm. And that kind of affected a lot of people. They had USDC locked up in these smart contracts, these Tornado Cash smart contracts, where Circle was essentially telling people, you can't access your money. You can't access your tokens, your coins.
I didn't know that included USDC, though.
USDC was a big part of that, actually. Huh. So the Circle group that issues USDC, they locked up a lot of people's holdings. And for a stable coin, something that's supposed to be a stable store of value, that's just unacceptable. Right? I mean, if we had cash under the mattress, which, spoiler alert, Mrs. Mind Your Biz and I we're not a cash under the mattress kind of couple. It's not a cash under the mattress kind of household. And if you go looking for it, you might find a much nastier surprise waiting for you here. But but if you had cash under the mattress, you'd expect to find it where you put it. And the same is true, I think, of stablecoins, right? Or your bank account, anyway. And that's why, anyway, it's important to realize Tether is a liquid stablecoin. People are actually able to use it when they want to use it. And I know it sounds crazy. Is Mind Your Biz becoming a Tether maximalist? No. I'm just pointing out the facts. This is useful. It's used because it's useful, and it's useful because you can use it. right? It's not just locked up all the time. BUSD also kind of proves, right, in terms of actual usage, that people are finding it useful. So just something to be aware of for the Mind Your Biz community. Don't get yourself caught in illiquid smart contracts when you're on chain by using USDC and thinking that it's going to be liquid when you need it, and then discovering there's going to be some kind of a problem due to a regulatory speed bump, we'll say. Yeah, or some kind of a hurdle that you have to jump over. The Deadwood says, I use cash only at gas stations. AM/PM charges 20 cents a gallon for debit transactions. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, no, gas stations, they're the OGs as far as giving a discount for cash. Most should still do it. So that's great alpha right there. The Deadwood is literally trying to give y'all anywhere between, a 5% discount to possibly even more, depending on the gas station. But it's bare minimum. It's the cost of the debit transaction, right? So, and on average, it's like whatever, 2 to 3% generally. So great alpha right there. Every little bit counts right now in the current environment with CPI going up and with especially the cost of fuel going up. So thanks for sharing that. So important to conserve right now, as opposed to just trying to find the alpha for like, all right, what's going to give me this huge ROI on an investment? Well, something that's going to give you a huge ROI over time is saving 3 to 5%. Right? I mean, just on a consistent basis. And I hate to go all Dave Ramsey on you, but like, that's just true. You can't build what you haven't conserved, right? Mrs. Mind Your Biz, I want you to actually speak directly into the microphone.
Okay.
All right, there you go. So she keeps drifting farther and farther away, like, what? So, hey, I can't blame her. Really? What we're seeing on these charts is pretty amazing now. The Deadwood apparently is in a market where gas is at $5.08 a gallon right now. I am so sorry to hear that. Seriously, RIP, RIP, everyone's gas budget. Jeez Louise. Apologies for that. Have I not mentioned, by the way, that nothing on this show, on today's show, is intended as legal, financial, or business advice? Because in the current environment and political climate, I actually have to do that. Thanks for playing the game with me. That's just, just the cost of doing business when you are on YouTube. Let's take a look at the current Bitcoin chart, and I've added as an indicator RSI. So relative strength index will be something that we begin to explore and talk about more deeply. I mean, the RSI shows us an average here, right? So the 14 close SMA. And then we have our trend line above and below. It gives us, right, another moving average. So I'm not an expert in this right now, but I do want RSI and MACD to be part of the foundation for what I posit as my investing thesis on this chart, right? So I've got these ranges that we've been taking a look at for a while, and we're currently on the weekly chart. We've gone away from the daily chart for the moment, but we have this channel, and then we have these other ranges here that we've identified as sort of the dollar cost average range that I think most people would be reasonably comfortable with a year or two from now, or a couple of years from now. In green, yellow is something where, people may have felt good about dollar cost averaging and just to get a position into Bitcoin. And again, you shouldn't feel too bad about this in the future, but if you bought at the top of that range at $50,000, like, it's going to be a while before it makes sense to you. And then red and ultraviolet, like, very, very difficult. That's a very simple way of looking at the charts. As far as actually beginning to learn technical analysis and making better sense of this to have an investment thesis based on technical analysis, I'm starting with MACD and RSI. Just to make that very clear, that's my intention. That's why it's on this public-facing chart on Mind Your Biz, which we always have linked down in the description of the video. So that's why I've added RSI as an indicator here. I have taken away the moving averages that were superimposed on top of the candlesticks here in favor of just having the MACD that shows us, right, the moving average convergence divergence. So we have two moving averages there. And then we have a moving average here on RSI. So we don't need the moving averages on top of our candlesticks. We're going to do away with that. And we're going to start kind of honing in on these two indicators just to start. And who knows, we may even start learning some more about technical analysis. I've had a couple of books that I've been very derelict in finishing and finally reading. Mrs. Mind Your Biz has seen them on the shelf for a while. So we'll get to those in just a minute. But But yeah, that's the latest update on the current candlesticks, or Mind Your Biz chopsticks chart right here. And we might have to redefine some of our goals based on how we've been crabbing sideways on this Bitcoin chart for a while. And we'll do so, I think, before we redefine where the chopsticks are headed or where we place them, right? Drawing lines and squiggles on the chart. We won't draw any more lines and squiggles until we get a little more expert at reading MACD and RSI. That's my commitment to you, dear audience. So don't want you to feel like, what is this guy even talking about? Like, has he ever learned anything about technical analysis? It's time. It's time to make sure that happens. So jump out of the way. Quickly go over the cost to mine one full Bitcoin on the hardware profile of the S19 XP by Bitmain. And at 140 terahash at about 3,500 watts and about 8 cents USD and a 1% pool fee, you're looking at roughly $12,500 Bitcoin. Not terrible. And I think that even if we do dip into the sub $10,000 range, you will be happy with that Bitcoin acquisition in the near to midterm. It won't. You won't. I don't think you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is hanging out at $8,000. I feel ripped off. You're going to be okay. I really do think you're going to be okay. You're going to be happy with the price of the Bitcoin that you got if you mined it. So, Mrs. Mind Your Biz, the big question is, when can I start mining inside the house again?
Oh, it's almost winter.
Well, you guys, you heard it right here. You heard it here first. It's winter, so it's the right time to mine inside your homes. Get a little bit of extra heat inside of the house. And so that is like today. I can start mining inside the house today.
Wow. This is how we get permissions.
Okay, peer pressure doesn't work. And there may be a little bit of Irish in this one. So, yeah. So peer pressure and psychoanalysis, they don't work. They don't work on this one. Send help, guys. All right. But current cost to mine one full Bitcoin, a little over $12,000. Let's take a look at the HiveOS statistics really, really briefly. Looks like, of course, it's always going to be ETC hash and ETC at the very top of the list here, primarily because of a lot of the ASICs, right? Nobody likes to talk about it, but ASICs rule the day, even on Ethereum. We know that. Whoa, I see our view count has gone up and our likes are coming in strong. Thank you so much to your audience for clicking the share button. Appreciate that so much. But ETC hash and then Caspa is in a close number 2. It's gone well ahead of Raven, right? So ETC hash, ETH hash, PoW, and Caspa in terms of, that's funny that the algorithm breakdown per GPU is in favor of PoW, but then the coins seem to be in favor of Caspa above Raven coin. Not totally certain how that happened, but there you go. This is just one mining platform's numbers. I think what we need to do instead is take a brief look at miningpoolstats.stream. Phenomenal resource for getting more data. And just to be clear, if you see that my miningpoolstats.stream is entirely ad-free, that is because of the way that I've set up my browser. So it's no slight against the team over there, but I don't like looking at ads, so I just remove them anytime that I can. Is that okay, Ms. Minibiz?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure it's all right. I mean, I hope I'm not cheating anybody. Just saying, if you can do it, why not? Why stare at ads? But Dogecoin, still the number 2 in terms of the overall net hash, at least as measured here. It's still crazy to me that you would not see Dogecoin and Litecoin neck and neck, since you can merge mine the two. But Ethereum Classic coming in just behind Dogecoin in total net hash. That's actually not correct, the way they have that listed there. And it could be that it's relative net hash based on the amount of participation or the amount of electricity used, since you do have much higher efficiency machines, those ASICs that are chugging away on the scrypt algorithm. And, for the record, a little bit of education, it is scrypt, it's not script, because if you say script, then it sounds like you are scripting something, and scrypt is a little bit more in line with the way it's named. It is a encryption, right? So scrypt, like encrypting something.
They got to spell that differently.
No, they probably do have to spell it.
That does not work.
I know it doesn't. You're trying to tell people who are engineers how to name stuff. Remember GIF,
yes,
thingy, a picture that moves.
Yes.
Yeah, engineers did that. So you're right. They need to rename it, but Good luck telling them that.
It was just a little slash between the S and the C, and I think you'd fix that problem.
You probably would,
Can you
but
do that?
I mean, I can't. You guys want to see how I do that? Okay, we're gonna fix that right here, live on the show. All right, we're gonna inspect. We're going to highlight that, and now I'm going to edit this, and we're gonna fix every problem in the world. Oh, nope.
You're so good at that.
Oh, thanks, sweetie. Thank you. You're too kind. Okay.
There.
S-crypt. There we go. We fixed it. We fixed it.
Now
See that?
I see that I need to say S-crypt instead of script.
And I fixed the internet. Live on Mind Your Biz.
It's almost broken.
You guys saw it.
Close
We
one.
fixed it. Mrs. Mind Your Biz and we fixed the entire internet together. All right. Thanks for tuning in for this seminal moment.
Bravo,
This is
hun.
amazing. Thank you. Wow. I got a little pat on my booty. We've got to do this show together more often. So, yeah, but S-crypt, the Dogecoin and Litecoin algorithm that is mined by dozens of pools, it really should be merge mined across the same number of pools, 37 for Dogecoin and 40 for Litecoin. Why are they not all merge mining both coins? I don't understand. It's one of the best things to happen to proof of work since proof of work itself is merge mining. So get the memo out. We need more of that. Please do throw your chat into the live chat. I've got it set up right now for top chat. Go ahead and make sure that that's live. I've taken off subscriber only mode so you can just throw in your comments and your questions, and you do not need to submit any kind of a payment or any kind of a super chat to have your questions read. I'm trying to get into our news articles, though. Got quite a bit today. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, can you do me a solid and read the headline here?
Redditors share reasonable goals in response to crypto billionaires survey.
Do you believe that you could become a crypto billionaire, sweetie?
Sure.
Do you believe that I could become a crypto billionaire?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think together we can figure this out?
Yes.
All right. So
You're doing great.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Here's kind of the issue is that on Reddit, there were apparently more than 70% of respondents on Reddit who thought that they had the right tools to become crypto billionaires.
Okay.
I don't know. When more than 50% of people think that something is true, that tells me there's no way it could be true.
Oh, it just seems like overconfidence.
Yeah, it's a bit of hubris, right? A little bit of Dunning-Kruger syndrome, I think. So you had 70% of people thinking they could become crypto billionaires. And here's the thing. Well, I believe you, and I believe me, and I believe most people in Mind Your Biz community could do this.
Those are the other people that are delusional, but we've got this.
Exactly. We've got this figured out. Everybody else is kind of an idiot. I mean, we all know this, right? Like, this is just true all the time. By the numbers, everybody else has to be an idiot. And you, me, right? Us, internal, just in the in group, we're not idiots. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, I kind of like that quote there, though.
Go ahead and read it for us.
Being a billionaire is a laughable goal because it is a move to the extreme. Lifting up the standard of living for all people is something that is actually attainable.
I agree. And so it's funny. This went after this poll. Apparently, it was almost 2,000 adults. Had 70% of people thinking that it was possible to become a billionaire. Hilarious, and related. The number of crypto billionaires is growing fast. Here's why. That's actually a misleading headline. It's not growing fast. You know who's on the list of people who are going to become crypto billionaires? People like Vitalik Buterin, the inventor of Ethereum.
Right.
And he's only currently not a billionaire because the price of Ethereum dipped a bit. And when it goes back up, he will be a billionaire again.
Well, it's just kind of a misrepresentation of the phenomenon, right? Yes, it's true, but the people who are becoming crypto billionaires are kind of these outliers with very specific skill sets and abilities.
They have a very specific set of skills.
Very specific.
They will find you and they will make you a billionaire. So it's kind of crazy though. People have they've got sometimes eyes are bigger than their means.
Well,
right?
I mean, would it be more reasonable to say people could become crypto millionaires? Yes, that a lot there's potential there. Right now, if people are getting involved now and down the road, that's what can happen. Is there are a lot of people who could become millionaires, but billionaires, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. And sweetie, so here, audience, Mrs. Mind Your Biz and I, we personally know people who have gone from having a 4-figure investment portfolio in crypto to becoming millionaires, and not like somebody who has $1 million in their portfolio, but people who actually have 8 figures in their portfolio. Clearly, we don't dox our friends, but we know people personally who this has happened for, who've been very, very focused, right, and who've made this happen. So we've seen that phenomenon in our own sphere, right, in our own circle of friends and associates. So we know it's possible, and I think it's totally accurate, right, what we're seeing here, right? It is a reasonable goal to say, hey, if you're focused, you know what you're doing, you pay attention to market cycles, and you try to get in on projects that are really promising, yeah, you can absolutely, that's totally achievable, totally attainable for somebody who's serious in the crypto industry. So yeah, just kind of a funny thing there.
It just seems informed by an American ideal, you know.
Yeah.
Every American, you know, thinks that they are going to be a Rockefeller,
right?
Because you can, but it's like, yeah, but it's not just like they stepped out the door and said, well, I can, ergo now I am. You know, there's, you know, people who actually walk that walk are kind of in like a 1 to 3 percentile, you know, of the populace, and the rest of us are just doing what we can.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think you shared the quote with me that every American, that the American attitude is generally that we are all just temporarily embarrassed millionaires already. Like we in our minds we've already made it, but we're just temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
Was this a survey done in America? Yeah.
I don't know if it was
United States adults. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Just U.S. adults. So that does. Sorry to our European audience. So yeah, you already knew we were kind of juvenile, just a little bit over here across the pond, but we've confirmed it right in this poll. But moving on, I got a couple comments coming in. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, do you want to read these off? We got the Deadwood here, and then Stereo 2.
Oh, up there. Let me see from where. Right there. Okay, mining on ETC was nice 2 months ago, but as the ETH merger came closer, the percentage of coins fell. Now it's not even worth GPU mining to me. So many more efficient devices being used.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So many more, sorry.
so
many
okay.
more.
Yeah, no, right? So Ethereum Classic seemed like a good idea, right? ETHW versus Ethereum Classic, I think that's an obvious choice there, like Ethereum Classic, but yeah. Stereo 2 also has a comment. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, you want to give Stereo 2 a voice here? It's kind of funny because he's a middle-aged Italian man.
Oh, nice. Great. Now pressure. Like I'm supposed to do this in an Italian accent now.
She was about to do a Luigi voice. She was about to do the Mario voice. Stereo 2. Oh.
Okay.
First off, buongiorno.
I don't know my skill yet. Go figure.
Wow, we went there. And tell Mrs. Stereo 2 we say hello. We'll have to go out, just the whole crew, right? Double date next time we're in Las Vegas.
We'll have some Italian food.
I think they're probably tired of Italian food in Las Vegas. Maybe. But possibly.
Sorry.
You guys have to tell us.
Okay, Indian food.
But anyway, moving on in the news, we got Crypto Slate giving a very solid report of Bitcoin mining becoming more green. In 2021, the amount of I lied. So it actually fell. Uh-oh. What have I done?
You did it again.
I did. I personally caused this. It's all my fault. Mind Your Biz has absolutely destroyed this. So it absolutely destroyed the environment. The oceans they're set to boil any minute now. So I apologize. Mind Your Biz community. It's all my fault. I take full credit. Notify the Pentagon and tell the Kremlin as well. Like just let everybody know. Like they may as well just hit the big red button, because the Earth is gonna is going to hell in a handbasket anyway, and it's all my fault. I did this. So apparently, non-renewable energy in Bitcoin mining has increased by 13%. We've slid back in the year 2021 as measured. There was so much renewable energy going into Bitcoin mining specifically. But here's the thing. People say non-renewable, and here's where I think there is an untold story there. There is the methane flaring from fracking operations, is the methane flaring from all kinds of energy exploration that is basically a totally lost energy. It's stranded energy. And Mrs. Mind Your Biz, you're aware of this, right? Methane is worse for the environment than CO2.
I don't know that I was.
Okay, well now you know.
Now I know.
The more you know. All right, so
You said it, so it must be true. I'll just trust that, and I won't fact check any of it.
no, the hashtag don't fact check. Don't fact check, mind your biz. So, yeah, as far as, but you can look it up, and it is true that methane is a far more dangerous. It's far more dangerous compound to throw into the environment than CO2 is by way of greenhouse gases. So it winds up heating up the environment, heating up faster. Yeah. So methane is far worse. So you have these methane flaring operations where you have, for energy exploration, they're burning the methane. That's why you see those gas flares.
Okay.
They're burning the methane because the CO2 and the carbon emitted from burning it is less harmful to the environment than just letting the methane spew out into the environment.
Isn't there any way to just recapture the methane and use it as an energy source?
Yes, only when you have mobile Bitcoin mining units.
Oh, only that, nothing else.
Yeah, well, there are other ways, but the incentive travels with you, so you don't have to try to set up a generator and then get all that energy to go back to the grid. It's very difficult. You'd have to set up massive power lines, right? High voltage power lines, figure out some way to build all that infrastructure to go back to the local grid, which when you're doing energy exploration, you could be a couple hundred miles away from civilization. So you're going to set up infrastructure to do that, and you don't know how long that's going to last. You don't know how long you're going to need to flare that methane for. So far easier to take a shipping container filled with Bitcoin miners and then figure out, okay, can we power this many? Great. How many more can we power? This many? Great. This many? Great.
Okay.
How much power do we really have here? And so when I see a headline like this, Mrs. Mind Your Biz, the first thing that I think is, okay, yeah, well, maybe we're into non-renewable energy sources, but I know that within Bitcoin mining, it's very common for us to go capture this stranded energy.
Yeah, where did they get that number of like causing greenhouse gas emissions to increase by 63%? That I haven't read the article, so I don't know, but that's quite a bold claim, it seems.
Yeah, it is a bold claim, and it's very possible that they don't have very good data to back that up. So the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance tracks the electricity consumption of Bitcoin mining, added the sources of energy in a major update on September 27th. Let's see, compared to 2020, electricity from natural gas and nuclear energy saw the highest increase last year. This is where it's crazy to me that they're trying to say that using nuclear energy and natural gas, essentially what I just said, that is somehow causing greater greenhouse gas emission.
Right.
Right? Like, there's a narrative going on here. That's what I'm saying. There's definitely a narrative that backs up the ESG claims that we need to go more green, that we need to stop using energy at all, which is not true. I think we just need to be more responsible in how we source it and whether or not we're able to capture sources of energy that are more damaging if we leave them alone.
Right.
So, yeah, anyway, that's my take on it.
Well, I mean, it's decrying a lot of the decline, from what I'm seeing in the article, the decline of hydroelectricity, solar, wind energy. But we're also in a phase where we're finding some inefficiencies in those energies as well.
Right.
I'm probably most informed on wind energy.
Oh my gosh.
There have been things that are problematic with wind energy. I mean, nuclear energy is a tricky one because yes, it is super clean energy. It is super efficient, but it comes with if things go bad, they go really bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, anytime there's been any kind of a serious nuclear problem, like your Chernobyls and your Fukushimas, these are outliers in terms of the perfect storm of negligence, old equipment, bad practices, and just everything kind of coming together at the same time to have a massive problem occur. It is the worst case scenario, and it's played out across multiple sides where if we're designing systems of nuclear, new nuclear reactor designs, then we can put in fail-safes to help get rid of some of those, just one or two of those problems, so we don't ever run into a condition like that again, where you have massive negligence on the part of the human operators, and then also some other security practices that are not followed the way they should be. We can learn from our mistakes, is what I'm saying.
But are radioactive wolves really so bad?
She makes a fair point, guys. And yeah, Hashtag
I think that's
more
discrimination.
Chernobyl.
They're discriminating against the, radioactive wolves of Chernobyl, and that's just wrong.
Have you asked the radioactive wolves of Chernobyl how they identify, though? Maybe they identify as radioactive deer, and you're just being very insensitive right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Shame on you. Canceled.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was it. Mrs. Mind Your Biz is done. All right.
Too many tangents if you have me here.
Right? I know. This is so much fun now.
Probably a super slow crawl compared to how you usually get through everything.
No, actually, it's not.
It's not?
You're probably helping me be more focused than I normally am.
Oh, look at me helping.
Yeah. Hey, CBTV is in the chat, says, caught you live, my brother Seth. Great to see Blood in the chat. And guys, obviously, if you're not already subscribed to Crypto Blood, if you're not checking out his offering, his market signal offering, Bloodalytics, you really should. I mentioned that I'm going to be learning technical analysis myself. That's because I want to understand charts, and just be less of, be crawling less of the time and maybe walking. I'll get to running at some point in the future. But in the meantime, there's Bloodalytics. So appreciate you being here. Crypto Blood, great guy. Go smash subscribe on his channel. The Deadwood is saying cattle and milk farms trap that gas and run generators. It's amazing, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is something that, like, methane production from the dairy and the beef industry, they finally figured it out. So
Farmers do.
You're capturing cow farts to run your farm? That's the real innovation. You're the real MVP out there, dairy farmers. And then says the cities could do coffers for sewage, and then use that gas for generators as well, or sewage, and then use that gas for generators as well. Dude, you're totally right. People can use the composting toilets to be able to use the thermal energy. There's so many ways to recapture from, and then there's recapture from on top of landfills because of the gases that are emitted from the composting that takes place inside of landfills. There's so many innovative ways that we can recapture waste in this world, and stop complaining about how energy consumption is the problem. No, it's how you source it. It's not the use of energy. It's whether or not you let energy go to waste in composting and decomposition and in just natural processes. We're very wasteful, and energy consumption isn't actually a sign of that waste. Just saying. More than one way to do it. Stereo 2 says, my regards a la signora, mind your biz.
Aw.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Moving on in the news. We do kind of have to, be a little topical. I apologize for that. Ms. Mind Your Biz, lead us out with this one.
Global think tank suggests blockchain in public finance can help reduce fraud.
Wait, reduce fraud?
Reduce fraud.
I thought crypto was for criminals.
Only criminals.
Oh.
Like you.
Oh my gosh. I bring her on one show. She throws me under the bus. And it's true, I'm a criminal, but I'm not telling you which crime. So, yeah. But Global Think Tank, apparently they think that the blockchain in public finance will reduce fraud specifically. And it's funny. Say modernizing public finance management through blockchain could help governments identify potential corruption and waste by providing additional transparency and traceability.
Hasn't it already kind of done that?
It totally has. And in the recent Senate hearing, where you had the expert witnesses that were brought in to, this was Maxine Waters, and I don't think that we had any kind of coverage here on Mind Your Biz. I would love to still. I did download the entire thing because I found it absolutely engrossing, that session, where you had various senators talking to various representatives from within the blockchain industry. And you had a representative from Chainalysis who said, you realize that we've helped you capture more blockchain-based criminals than you've ever done with narcotraficantes, right? Like drug dealers and people who are going across the U.S.-Mexico border using U.S. dollars. Like, we've helped you capture a larger percentage of those criminals when they use blockchain than you ever caught when they use dollars.
Funny how that works.
It's just hilarious because they had this session. They were like, oh, yeah, no, he's right. These guys have totally helped us. Chainalysis was essential in helping us figure this out. So it is kind of funny that we're finally starting to see that narrative shift a tiny bit. But I don't know. Mind Your Biz community, what do you think of that? Let's see. Whoa, the Deadwood is on a roof working, still there, listening in. Appreciate that. We do kind of run this show podcast style, so appreciate you letting us drop some news nuggets in your ear holes while you're on the roof. Don't wear a harness, man, if you have one. Just saying. I've done enough jobs there on the second and third floor to know. Like, I know this is the safety, this is the harness. I get it. Use your brain, but be safe. So, I think it's interesting, and I realize we're just at the very topical point right there. You mind reading that little quote for us, though?
Blockchain for public finance can reduce the administrative effort associated with financial reconciliations, tracking, and reporting. Business terms or eligibility and compliance rules can be embedded into the system to automate transaction controls via smart contracts. Automated tracking and reporting can significantly reduce the cost for partners of interacting with government.
This is totally true. And with one of my current consulting roles, we're looking into smart contracts for various sides of the business to ensure that we have greater transparency and compliance with our partners and with our vendors. So if you're not thinking that way with blockchain, then you're missing out on most of the benefit, in my opinion. I realize a lot of that's also like, oh, great, technobabble. Thanks for making me read that, Mindy Biz. What's your take on that, though? You think this is true, or you think this is bogus?
No, that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we got additional news here. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, what we got?
Robinhood Web3 wallet enters beta, taps Polygon as first blockchain. Now that's babble for me.
Okay, got it.
I understood the last stuff. This is kind of like, what?
Got it. Well, let's unpack this a little bit. So Robinhood, the trading platform, is finally releasing its Web3 wallet. It's kind of a competitor to say like MetaMask,
okay,
right? So the plugin that we use on the browser to be able to use the Ethereum ecosystem, and they're using the Polygon blockchain as the first one that will support instead of Ethereum. It's kind of an odd choice in my opinion, but it is a very low fee chain, and it does have a lot of the assets that are tradable on on Ethereum are also traded on Polygon.
Okay.
So they can be wrapped and traded on Polygon. And so it kind of does fit with the ethos of Robinhood being sort of the platform for the underdogs, the platform for the college student, the platform for,
because Robinhood's that little like, here, throw change in here and you too can have stocks. Like, that's what I know about Robinhood.
Yes, you can buy fractionalized stocks and just a tiny little bit. And they had a really aggressive referral program a few years ago where a bunch of people basically stepped into like a, $100, a few $100, a few $1,000 portfolio just by making referrals. So it's kind of funny. Robinhood is, I think, probably a net positive for the investing scene for retail investors, but then they did crazy things like shut down trades of GameStop, right? When GameStop really blew up, right?
Yeah, I remember there was some kind of like, I knew there was some, what's the word? Something controversial in there with Robinhood, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Right. And the issue that I have is that how long will it take before their Web3 wallet that we discover there's some kind of controversy embedded in that code somewhere?
What is their agenda? What do they want?
It's the right question to ask, I think, when it comes to a group that has that kind of a track record, right? Where they've interfered with people's money. They've interfered with the ability of specifically retail investors, not institutional investors, but people who are, stay-at-home moms, people who are throwing in maybe a few dozen dollars or a few $100 in a given quarter or year. Like, that's really all they have to invest. And they interfered with those people's investment. So, yeah, I do kind of question. I kind of question whether or not these guys are capable of total evil, right, in creating this code base. Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do there. You mind reading the quote for us?
Like we did with the stock market, Robinhood Wallet strips away some of the complexities of Web3 and DeFi to make crypto more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I do think that's a little bit of doublespeak. It's probably mostly true in the case of Robinhood. They probably mostly mean well. Again, I think that it's probably going to be a net positive for the market. But I worry about people kind of their only exposure to crypto and Web3 being through this wallet and being like, oh, well, Robinhood made this easy for me. And then discovering at just the wrong moment that it doesn't do everything they needed to do.
Right.
So we'll see.
I mean, it seems on brand with Robinhood, but are they as interested in everyone's freedom as, the crypto community is?
No. Yeah, decidedly, right? There's no way they could be, right? And is that legal, financial, or business advice?
No, that is an opinion. You have your own.
Yeah, right. So we're not trying to take down Robinhood. We've used them. We've got a little bit of referral fees in there, and have run a little portfolio based on just that. Stereo 2 says these are the same people from the AMD era. Yeah, or AMC. Yeah, right, AMC.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
So AMC Theaters also had a really tremendous run up with its stock, and then the Robinhood platform was complicit in shutting down retail investors' trades on that as well.
Oh,
they were pretty much evil twice, like basically twice in a row. And so it's a good bet that they will be evil again. We'll see. Third time's a charm, or is it 3 strikes you're out? We'll see what goes on there. This one's a lot more nerdy. Do you mind reading the headline for us, though?
Cosmos contributors released new white paper showcasing 2 big ideas.
And I'll take it from here because it is very, very nerdy. But the specific ideas are an interchain scheduler, which is essentially bringing MEV to the Cosmos ecosystem. And that's what I got right here, guys. MEV on IBC. Yes. So maximum extractable value. And I love that they finally have started calling it the correct term, because clearly it's not miner extractable value, since there are no miners. There are only validators in the IBC ecosystem. Is this good? Is this bullish, or is this bearish for the Cosmos ecosystem? Well, most would say this is bullish. It allows for transaction ordering, right? Or transaction prioritization, and in a way that was not doable before, was not possible before. So traders will be very happy with this. Arbitragers will be very happy with this. People who are, who've been involved in growing the value of the Ethereum ecosystem will see that this is available over here in the IBC ecosystem and start using Cosmos and the related chains more frequently. Or at least that's the hope, is that they'll just jump in and start doing this more. And then they also have a second feature called Interchain Allocator, which enables an economic coordination around the Atom token. And I've talked about this on the channel before. Now, you and I haven't talked a whole lot about Cosmos or Cosmos investment, but we do talk about Ethereum more frequently. Right now,
yes,
it's a
Cosmos
Ethereum,
is actually totally unfamiliar to me.
and that's okay. Like, that's the thing. That's common for most people. They're like, okay, well, I've heard of Ethereum. I know what it is. Cosmos sounds like a very generic brand, right? Very generic trademark. What is the Cosmos? Well, that's a deep question. What are the Cosmos? Like, what's this? Yeah. But Cosmos is a project that is actually a couple steps ahead of Ethereum in a lot of ways. But it uses a very different, a very, very different paradigm for how it transfers tokens and how it can transfer tokens from one side of its ecosystem to another. And it's a lot more innovative in a lot of ways, but what it hasn't done is had the correct economic incentives. And without those economic incentives, right, like, you tell me, if there's not an economic incentive to use a certain kind of blockchain, do you think people will use it?
No.
Yeah, it's got to be profitable first, right?
Right.
Yeah, so people, like we always talk about, I'm in it for the tech. No, you're not.
You're in it for the money.
Right?
Be honest.
Yeah, right? And if you can't admit that, okay, there's at least a component of that, of being in it for the money, then you're not going to make it.
Money's just a tool, okay? It's okay if you want money. It's not okay if you want to do bad things with it.
Wisdom, right? From Mrs. Mind Your Biz. She's dropping alpha right there, guys. So, yeah, nothing wrong with it, of course, but economic coordination around the Atom token. The biggest problem with the Cosmos ecosystem was the fact that the Atom token, which is the main governance token of Cosmos, was not getting enough of the fees. So they had, ironically, they had kind of accidentally slit their own throats, right? They kind of accidentally shot themselves in the foot with the way that they had crafted their ecosystem. So their own governance token didn't automatically raise in value or usage while the rest of the ecosystem was being used. Oh. And Ethereum does this very well. They got the gas fees, right? So anytime you use any token, including USDC or Tether or whatever else, you're going to pay a fee based in Ethereum, denominated in Ethereum, right? And we call it Gwei, right? The smallest atomic unit of Ethereum. But Cosmos did not have this in place, and now this white paper is proposing that this be put in place. So these two elements, maximum extractable value and then economic coordination around the Atom token, are going to help the IBC ecosystem finally start to compete with the right incentives. So even though the tech has been really good for a couple of years, really, really great tech, but no economic drivers. So yeah, with the economic drivers in place, we might see more adoption of the IBC ecosystem. We could talk about this a lot more. We could just read through this verbatim, but that would not help you guys quite as much. Do check it out. There's a link down in the description of this video. There almost always is. More recently, I've been putting fewer links in the description, but you got that in today's video, so you can go look up this news on your own. Read the entire thing. This is one of my favorite news articles from today, though, because it really does show a lot of substance, and it leaks a lot of alpha, Mrs. Mind Your Biz. People who get in on this ecosystem and know what they're doing in this ecosystem are going to win big very soon. Okay. So yeah, just saying. There's a reason that I talk about this and that I work in this ecosystem, and there's a reason that our wallets and our holdings are kind of leaning towards this ecosystem. Well, just saying.
I'm glad you got a handle on that, because a lot of that still went over my head.
Hey, that is okay. Let's talk about that international news, though. You mind kicking this one off?
Japan set to introduce anti-money laundering laws targeting crypto exchanges. No.
Good? Bad? Indifferent?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's kind of the issue. Jump down to the bottom, right? I like starting with the end in mind, if we can. But the information to be shared, some information to be shared includes the customer's name and address when sending cryptocurrency to another exchange.
Oh, let's remove privacy. Got it.
Yeah, exactly, right? At the same time, crypto exchanges that fail to observe laws will be subject to administrative guidance and corrective orders alongside criminal penalties. So they'll send you to the corporate re-education camps. That sounds very threatening, actually.
Yeah.
The way that's worded. But it's Japan, right? Japan has never done anything wrong or evil or bad. Right?
No.
Never.
Only victims.
Yeah, right? So, just saying. But apparently they are looking to regulate the crypto sector more and more. Japan has always been a little bit more progressive when it comes to having crypto regulation. So, to their credit, the nation of Japan has had a better environment for being able to innovate in cryptocurrency because they've had more clarity on what their laws actually are.
Okay.
Unlike the United States, where, we can't figure out whether something is a security or a commodity, and we've spent years trying to figure it out, and now both the CFTC and the SEC are basically suing individuals and companies first and making up charges later.
Wow. This
place is crazy, right? So anything is actually a step in the right direction compared to how things are done here in the United States.
Okay.
And I think, Japan, we may see that this winds up being okay, but when you talk about it being, all right, much more restrictive in terms of how crypto is sent, it might not be as good as they're making it out to be. So it could, when I see anti-money laundering laws, and specifically targeting crypto exchanges, what I read between the lines, Mrs. Mind Your Biz, I read anti-competitive environment.
Right.
So I think we're just going to see more crypto exchanges leave the United States and now leave Japan, unfortunately. But The Block has another bit of news talking about Jerome Powell. You mind read this one for us as well?
Crypto market downturn gives regulators, quote unquote, more time.
I wish we had more time.
That's what they want,
says Jerome Powell. If only we had more time. Gee, I wonder how you could get more time. I wonder if you could inflate the price. I wonder if you could cause massive inflation of the U.S. dollar. Would that give us more time?
Maybe.
Maybe you could be involved in quantitative easing and then quantitative tightening and massive manipulation of the U.S. dollar. Could that buy more time with crypto?
Yeah. Where's the harm in that?
If only they had more time. I wonder who will give these guys more time. If they just ask politely, they'll get more time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same page here. Current crypto market downturn gives regulators more time to pass appropriate regulations, according to Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. While talking about regulating stablecoins, Powell reiterated that the U.S. is not pursuing a central bank digital currency at this time. That's interesting, and that's kind of news.
Yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous. It's like Pepsi saying, we've got a little bit more time to fix the problems with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, it's also like Pepsi saying like, and no, we're not coming up with any additional, any additional flavors or any additional product packaging that would make us competitive with Coca-Cola, right? Both simultaneously. Obviously, they're working on a CBDC. It was that was made very clear in the executive order from 6 months ago from the Biden administration. I don't dare say that it was Joe Biden himself. The man is totally incapable of being ambulatory, let alone writing a full executive order on his own. It's genuinely elder abuse what's happening in the White House right now. But the Biden administration issued that executive order, and it mentioned very specifically at the bottom a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. So for Jerome Powell to claim that the U.S. is not pursuing a central bank digital currency at this time, the operative words are "at this time."
Right.
That's what everyone needs to be aware of.
Watch the doublespeak, people.
Exactly, right? Oh, we have more time. Well, yeah, in that time, they're going to craft, alongside the appropriate, air quotes, appropriate regulations, they're going to be crafting that central bank digital currency that enforces through code those policies. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, have they ever done anything like that before? Have they ever manipulated money before?
Or taken away the base store of value from the people? Never, right?
Because that would be evil.
Yeah, right. Oh, and surely it would be temporary, just like federal income tax.
Right.
Right, yeah, it would be temporary. Transitory, sorry. That's their word for it, transitory. It's transitory. Well, it'll all go away. It'll all go away soon. But thankfully, right now, we have more time. Anyway, that's... you could, in case it isn't obvious, Mrs. Mind Your Biz, we share a sensibility of skepticism towards the doublespeak that you see coming out of these 3-4-letter agencies and major institutions.
We just don't like the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve is flat out evil. It's just obvious. Yeah, it's a non-government entity that is involved in massive manipulation, but is right. It's in bed with the U.S. government. There's almost no separation.
Right.
Almost no clear separation between them and the U.S. Treasury, and it's a little bit weird.
Well, they just exist because of mass ignorance. So here we are.
Yeah. All right. So last article of the day. What do we got?
Ethereum fork token ETH PoW climbs. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Climbs 150% after a smart contract hack, a fake out rally.
I think so. If it's a smart contract hack, we saw over on Crypto Bubbles that ETHW had grown quite a bit. Let's move back over to the other chart. So performance right there. ETHW has the biggest performance over a week. But yeah, I think it is a fake out, and I think it's absolutely based on manipulation. The smart contract environment of this new chain is ripe for manipulation. So I don't think anyone should be surprised that it is being manipulated, and just wanted to round out the news with that. But BlockSec had a quick tweet storm about the hack itself. Going to open that up in another tab here and talk a little bit about that. So the message replay attacks on Ethereum proof of work. It's been a little bit of time now. I mean, at this point, we're going on 11 days since the hack happened, or since it was initially identified. But it's very possible that we just have not seen any of this get fixed, because the ETH PoW chain, which was a fork of Ethereum, they haven't had very good development. So yeah, I think we're going to continue to see problems on that chain, and we're going to continue to see it manipulated. And so the token value, it might go up, but it's very likely unsustainable. And yeah, I think it's a mistake to be involved in it at all. Like, I'm treating any of the ETHW that I got airdropped to any of our wallets like it doesn't exist. It's just not. There's no upside in actually using it and actually trying to put it on exchanges and trying to trade it out. It's gone from hardly any value to back to $10 now, and we had already taken profits on most of our Ethereum some time ago. So it's like, okay, we didn't have like massive Ethereum holdings. So yeah, at any rate, yeah. Gandalf Grey comes in and says, "Smash that like." I don't know. Is that a good idea, Mrs. Moneybiz?
Do it.
Yeah, there you go.
It feels so good.
Oh my gosh, scandal in the mornings. That's what we got for you over here.
Don't want
on
innuendo. Don't put your wife on this show.
I married a good one, guys. I married a keeper. All right. So let's take a look at TX Street if it wants to load up. It does not want to load up. I'm just leaving it alone. So TX Street, be gone. Let's go over to DeFi Llama. I love they've gotten a new UI refresh over here on DeFi Llama, and new pie chart. New charts over here that clearly demonstrates some of that Ethereum dominance over the markets right now. Don't have any of the options selected here, but we're below 60% dominance until we do add those. Yay, even those check boxes are better and more responsive, and the refresh looks that much more snappy. Wow, great job, DeFi Llama team, in pushing this new update to the front end. This website looks great. This is a free resource. Wow. I can't believe this is free. Like, it's a totally free, and free as in open source, free as in speech, not free as in beer.
Nice.
Like, this is crazy how much work they put into this and how much value it provides. So, wow, and now you can define your ranges over here. You got a little slider. Oh, there we go. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's great. These guys just spoil us so much. I mean, yeah, kudos to the DeFi Llama team. This is just a joy to work with. So the rest of the stacked ranking looks pretty much the same, very similar. They probably changed, there we go, some of the CSS. So the side menus as well kind of have that, there you go, a little hover preview right there, and, you know, rounded edges and stuff. It's just nice. The whole thing just looks really nice. But current top 5 are Ethereum, BSC, Tron, Avalanche, and Solana. We've kicked Optimism and Polygon out of the top 5. Polygon has dropped quite a bit. By way of protocol support, going to flip into protocol support, and this is, as you know, Mind Your Risk community, something I think everybody needs to pay attention to, which is why I keep mentioning it in the live streams. It's very important. Pay attention to protocol support, because it tends to be a leading indicator of whether or not a chain is going to have more value dropped onto it. Protocol support, we just read an article that which platform is going to support Polygon?
Cosmos.
No, that's not.
I'm sorry, I saw Cosmos and Polygon. I'm like, am I right? I don't know.
It's that trading platform. Okay. The ones that, do you know the ones that stop people from trading?
What are we talking about?
So the platform that went full evil showed. I'm not making a good case. Yeah.
Am I right now?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
I'm realizing that I'm probably not making a very good case for Polygon either. When we talk about it, it's like, oh right, yeah, Robinhood went totally evil. But the protocol support here is a big leading indicator of whether or not there's going to be new value dropped into an ecosystem. And so, yeah, Polygon, lots of protocols supported. Phantom, Avalanche also, it's growing. Chronos, unfortunately, is growing faster than a lot of these other platforms. And yeah, with Cosmos, oof, pardon me. You got to sneeze. It really wants to do its thing.
Bless you.
Oh man, it took a minute. It was like, delayed response. Like, hey, you're gonna sneeze in like 15 minutes from now. Jeez.
Look at the light.
It was a lifetime. Should I go towards the light?
Go towards the light, and then you'll sneeze, and it'll all be better.
You do realize that? I mean, sneezing is the cause of death. You won't be the beneficiary. Just saying.
What?
Yeah.
Is that like a little byline in, our life insurance
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We'll cover everything except sneezes.
Yeah, we'll cover everything except sneezes where your wife has encouraged you to move towards the light. I'm just saying there are conditions.
Right.
There's some conditions that have to be met here. But yeah, something about the DeFi Llama website that I think is kind of a bummer, and I don't think is very well laid out, is Cosmos as an ecosystem. We'll even jump into the Cosmos as an ecosystem. So now we see how other networks run here. Cosmos itself is not listed as having protocol support, and this was the problem that we were talking about before.
Okay.
It's considered an ecosystem, but the Cosmos chain and token itself is not the primary beneficiary of all of this activity, right? All these protocols, all of this TVL, right? All this money that's locked up on these chains, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars, over $1 billion, I think, maybe all in between all of the different chains here. And Cosmos itself doesn't benefit from that economically. So got to fix that. Hopefully it's fixed very, very soon. But yeah, So that's DeFi Llama, guys. That's our breakdown. Just be aware. You got to pay attention to some of that stuff. Cosmos is it should be coming up. Map of Zones is another tool that I have listed in the description of the video. Check it out. It's a great tool for you to see what's hot in the Cosmos ecosystem and see, are there projects that for your investing goals, projects that you can feel good about supporting, and you can say, all right, well, I see there's an opportunity here. Some of the key metrics that you need to see are over on this tool, right, on Map of Zones, and you can figure out which area of the Cosmos ecosystem you want to be involved in, and where you see that, yeah, there's something going on. Find your own alpha over here is what I'm saying, because it's probably available. Yeah, eat your own alfalfa, find your own alpha. But GPU mining profitability, could have put this a little earlier in the show, chose to leave it back here. 8 cents per kilowatt hour gives us a tiny profit on even the most performant of cards like the RTX 3090. It's getting close to the time where we can start buying. I mentioned we would see sub $1,000 prices on these cards. There you go. Mind your biz community. Does your boy deliver? Or does he deliver?
Yes.
See that? This is so great. I love having a live audience. Always. So much fun. But
sorry, hon. I got lost a minute ago. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
That's totally okay. It's almost time for us to close the show. So yeah. Thank you for being the canary in the coal mine today. But yeah, GPU mining profitability, just mentioning it to the community. These are the prices that I told you to start looking out for. We may go lower, and we won't know until the RTX 4000 series is launched, because the hardware markets are going to go basically helter-skelter. It's going to be insane by the time we get towards the sort of Christmas buying season, gift season. So we're going to see hardware like GPUs. You're going to be hearing me say a lot, right? We got to upgrade the boys' gaming rig, got to upgrade a new workstation for me because I've been working on this setup that you see here. So this is going to be a key component of that. Like, the key component of that is figuring out what is the cost of a GPU. This device here was almost 3 times that price. Oh, not that long ago. So finally seeing it come down
because of inflation.
No, it hasn't lowered because of inflation. It's lowered because of Ethereum moving off of proof of work and the profits going down.
Oh,
so all kinds of stuff has affected that side of the market. And then this is one of the few devices where CPI is not correlated to this product. So the cost of basic necessities like fuel and food have gone up. The cost of tech has flatlined or gone down, which is kind of weird, right? The cost of some other things that you need, basic necessities, has also gone down. Mind your biz community. I strongly recommend that you look into prepping. Now it's never a bad time to have a little bit of extra food set aside. Mrs. Mind Your Biz and I, we have a little, we've got a pantry that we stock on a regular basis.
Bit by bit, people. Just every time you grocery shop, buy one item for your food storage.
Yes.
So
yes,
you're shopping, buy a case of canned pineapple, buy a case of flour next time, buy sugar. Okay, I could go on. But please do. Okay,
just a little more.
Yeah. If you're prepping, you do it just incrementally. It's overwhelming to do it all at once, so just do it like every grocery shopping trip. Think of one item you don't have that you could have as a food storage item and buy that. And then the next time you go grocery shopping, get something else that you don't have in your food storage. But
awesome.
Keep it simple, and then it doesn't overwhelm your budget or you.
Awesome. Yeah. Words of wisdom right there. So yeah, as far as getting into a better position financially with the impending potential additional hardship of the markets, right? Because we may see a multi-year bear market. We don't know. We don't know what commodities are going to look like or what housing is going to look like. Stocks are clearly kind of stalling out, crabbing sideways.
Well, what
down.
we know is that people can't afford anything right now.
Yeah. When you go on Amazon, everything is offered as installment, being able to pay with installments, including stuff that's like a $30 pair of shoes.
Well, when you see people, if people are having to take out loans just to buy groceries, they're going into debt just to buy groceries, like they don't have the means to just go to the store and buy food with cash, we're in trouble.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for sharing that alpha on how you can get started with food storage. That's just one means of prepping. And you figure if you have dollar cost averaged into the least expensive food that you can get today, you have saved yourself money if we continue to see CPI increase.
Yes.
Right? The cost of food and fuel in the future. Harder to store fuel than it is to store food. Right? But you figure any savings now is earnings in the future. All right, Mind Your Biz community, I'm going to call it a day. We're going to go over our portfolios on Thursday and go back into RSI and MACD. It'll be a learning journey with Mind Your Biz. And Mrs. Mind Your Biz, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's been a thorough pleasure. Mind Your Biz community, smash like, hit subscribe and like. Hit subscribe and the bell. Share this video right now and let me know in the chat and in the comments, would you like Mrs. Mind Your Biz to be on the channel more frequently? Because I've had a lot of fun. Have you had fun?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all tell us, would you like this to be the show that we both present together? Because I'm having a blast. And I think that it'd be great to do more of this. But you're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.